Hi, everyone. Today we're going to go over how to invite clients to the client portal and share intake forms. So once the client is entered into Theranest with their email address being correct in the system, you'll click this blue button, Invite to Client Portal. And then a few quick notes. You will never edit this over here. This all stays the same. What you will do is select forms out of this list here that you will send to the client for intake. Anything with an asterisk at the end must be sent separately, so they cannot be included in this initial batch of intake forms we're sending to the client. So if your client, so you'll notice the forms are all titled in a very specific way. They start out by the category of client, and then they go by the language of the form. So let's say you have an English-speaking behavioral health client for individual therapy. You will select all of the forms that start with all English. So we will uncheck the all Spanish forms. We're going to skip over the mandatory disclosure because it must be sent individually because it needs its own signature. So we'll skip all of those, and now we see behavioral health English forms. So that sounds like our behavioral health English client. So we're going to select all the behavioral health English forms. We'll skip the Spanish. Now we see DUI forms. So the client is not here for DUI services, so we will skip that section. And the client did not disclose any substance use disorder information on their screened phone call. So we will not include any SUD forms either. So we will double check that we have the correct forms selected, which we do. And we will click Preview Invitation. Sometimes it's helpful for people to count the number of forms. If you know there's a specific number for specific types of clients, that's just another way to double check you're sending the right forms. And then you go ahead and click Invite to Client Portal. And then you'll see up here, Client Invitation Sent. We can go to the general documents now, and we can see down here all of the forms that we sent, the time we sent them, and when the client completes them. It will show up here as the date completed, and the status will change to completed as well. You can't at this time resend forms, but once the client has signed forms, you will be able to resend or share new forms right from the General Documents tab in the future. If you do need to resend all these forms because the client can't find the email, go back to the details page and you can invite the client to the portal again. And then so for the sake of doing a different example, let's do a Spanish-speaking DUI client. So we'll choose all Spanish, choose all of those forms. We will skip the mandatory disclosure. And we will go to DUI Spanish, all of those forms. Skipping any forms that have an asterisk. And we will preview the invitation and invite to client portal. And then you can see all the forms that have been sent to the client. And that's it for sharing intake forms.